Hi friends, and welcome to Decorate Your Life. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful pop-up cards using papers and dies from Graphic 45. All the dimensions and full supply list will be listed in my blog, and I'm going to go ahead and link you to my blog in the description area below and also to the right hand side of the video. These pop-up cards are so addictive that I promise you, you're not going to stop at just one. So bookmark my blog, save this tutorial in your private playlist so that you can reference back to them next time you need these measurements and this how-to. So enjoy the tutorial. So for this pop-up card tutorial, we're going to be using the following, and I am displaying my pop-up card right here just to show you that I'll be making a brand spanking new one right along with you. So what I'm going to be using are the following: an 8x8 pad from Graphic 45 Floral Shoppe collection, and I have created several flowers. We're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flowers, and these flowers along with the leaves were created using the Graphic 45 flower dies. And if you need to see a tutorial on how to make these, I will go ahead and post a link right along there and also in the description area below. We are also going to use some flourishes from our stash, and these are Graphic 45 and other flourishes that I have, and leaves, and also some dimensional flourishes that I made. And if you need a tutorial on that, I will also link you in the description area below on how to make these dimensional flourishes. They look like they come out of a mold, but they don't. They're not from a mold. So we're also going to be using the Graphic 45 clock die, and it cuts like so. I like to add a little bit of gold for a little bit of glitz on my cards, just like I did so right along here, and I am going to show you how I put all of that together. And of course, we're going to be using a paper trimmer, we're going to be using some of this glue, we're going to be using a scoring board, and yeah, 2 sheets of 12x12 white cardstock, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so before we do any of our cutting and scoring and so forth, we are going to handle the clock first. And I think I just lost my time. Here it is, my third hand. So okay, here's a prills. We don't need that right now. So when you pass through this, your die cutting machine is going to cut it into 2 pieces. Okay, this is going to come right off, and usually what I do is I put a separate different color on there and pop it up or something, but that is not the case here. What we're going to do is we're going to take some glue, a fine bead of glue, and we're going to glue right along the edge, and then we're going to piece this back together again. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to run a fine stream of glue right along here, and we are going to go ahead and glue it right on top of it. And let me ensure that I have all my die cut pieces out. Let's see. Okay, there's no more pieces that I need to. So we're going to go ahead and glue this right on there. And you can use some gold cardstock. You can use some iridescent cardstock. if you wish, or you can use paper from the 8x8 paper pad of the collection. Now, it's personal preference. Me, I love using gold, and if you've seen my other videos, you've noticed that many a times I use gold in pretty much every single project out there, just about. And I just use that to glam things up just a bit. So now we are going to pay attention to our shape, the shape of our clock. So this right here is kind of like a crown right up there. I'm going to show it to you right there. See this shape right here? This is going to be my top and this is going to be my bottom, okay, or vice versa, depending how you're holding it. So I need to look at that first. So now that I know that that's my top and that's my bottom, I know that the 12 goes on top. And so I'm going to match the 12, the Roman numeral 12 to my top and the Roman numeral 6 to my bottom, to the bottom of my clock. Okay, so we have that piece in place. See, easy does it. And yeah, there we go. There we go. Alrighty, so now the next thing that we're going to do is, this was cut from here, okay, and I'm not going to use this piece. I'm going to save it for a different project. So off to the side it goes. And as a contrasting piece, what I did was I went ahead and cut the little dial thing that you get on the in the die set, and that's going to go right along there. But before we do that, here, let me put this back on because we don't want the glue to dry. What we're going to need is a brad, and if you don't have a brad, you know what? It's okay. You can always just glue it. One right on top of the other, but I am going to use a brad. So what I do is, when you die cut this piece, here, let me show it to you like this. It might be easier for you to see. I'm holding it inside out, no, backward. Okay, this is the bottom, and this is the top. Alrighty, so as you can see, you have the tiny little notches for the seconds, and there's a tiny little notch over here too for the centerpiece. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my tool-in-one and I am going to just kind of like puncture it right along here. Here we go. Okay, cut two pieces. There we go. Okay, here we go. Let me show it to you. That's what the back of that paper looks like. And now I have a tiny little hole right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a brad and I'm going to stick these pieces right in through there, and then you know, open the legs of the brad so it'll stick. It'll stay there fine. But like I said, if you don't have a brad, don't worry about it. Just do not puncture a hole there. There's going to be a tiny little hole, but do not make it bigger like I just did. And all you do is just glue your time pieces or legs. I don't know what these are called. You glue them right up on top of that. So let me see what we have in my box of metals, and I hope that I have a brad. Yay, I do have one. Okay, so there is my brad, and this is going to go right back up. Alrighty, so I'm not really sure. You know what? In this digital age, who owns a watch? I don't own a watch. I mean, I do, but I don't use it. And my husband owns a watch, but he doesn't use it. And because everything that you need is in this tiny little computer right here, right? So, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work my way from the smaller one to the larger one. To the larger hand is what I'm going to do. And I don't know if that is the correct way to build a clock, but this is how I'm going to do it. And so, yeah, we're going to just put one piece right after the other. And here we go. This is going to go right along there. Okay, so now that I have my three pieces, as you can see right there, they're being held by my brad. and have some glue in my hands. And so now we're gonna go to this piece right along here where we made the bigger circle, and we're just gonna thread it right through. See, just like so. And I'm just going to open this up right along here. There we go, and these fell just like that. No, I'm not going to bother moving them around or anything. It is what it is. And so yeah, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at where the 12 is. There is 12 noon, and what I will do is, now you have a couple of options here. You can use some foam pop dots, okay, right along here to make this more dimensional, or you could just, you know, glue it right up on top. So it's up to you. And if you don't have any pop dots or anything, go ahead and use something like foam, okay, extra foam that you may have, or even a little piece of chipboard will work just as well. So what we are going to do is, I just happen to find this right at the side of my desk, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little piece of foam here and a little piece of foam on the other side. Alrighty, and there we have it. So, oops, where did the other one go? This one. Okay, and that is going to be my whatchamacallit, my, so let's go ahead and use glue. You can, kitty, you can use, I have my cat right now standing on my shoulders because she wants to see what Mama's doing. Hang on. She was curious. She's like, Mommy, what are you doing? And so it's going to go right there. We're going to glue it there. And this is some really great glue. I mean, it'll, I have even glued metal to cardstock and it stays put. So here we go. And I guess I want the hands to, sorry if I'm off frame, I just need to make sure that I'm centering this correctly. And that's as centered as it'll go. Okay, so we have made a little dimensional clock. Everything is put together, so we're just going to give it some time to dry and so forth, and this is going to go to the side until later. Alrighty, so we're going to put that to the side. Going to close up our glue so it doesn't dry, and now we are going to get to building our pop-up card box or explosion card box. Okay, so I've written the measurements down, and I will go ahead and have all the measurements in my blog. If you want to go ahead and visit me at my blog, you will get the step-by-step picture tutorial and also all the measurements that you need. Plus, you will also, I will also add this tutorial video to my blog post, and I will go ahead and link you to my blog in the description area below and also right up there. And yeah, let's go ahead and start with our base. So this is the paper trimmer that I like to use. I do have a couple of paper trimmers. One of them is for cardstock and the other one is for my chipboard. And so we are going to need to cut this down to 6.5 by 4.5. So let's go ahead and do that. Here we go. Alrighty, so we have 6.5 by 4.5. Okay, so that's one piece. 4.5, and that's two pieces. We are going to cut 4 pieces. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our pieces and we're going to hold them horizontally. Okay, we're going to hold them horizontally, and then we are going to score at 3 inches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we have scored these horizontally. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is, okay, and here, when you do this next step, you have to ensure that you're keeping everything facing the same way, okay? So now, we're going to set these down like this, vertically, and we're going to score vertically at 4 inches, and they're all going to be facing the same way. We have to ensure that. So, here is 4 inches, and we're just going to score, okay? 1, and by facing the same way, I mean that you have the same measurements matching here. The measurements match here and the measurements match here, and you see nothing but a straight line. You don't want to do them like so, because then that'll mess you up in your in this next step. Okay, so I'm gonna hold it like, oops, vertically like so, and we are going to score at 4 inches. This one at 4 inches, and this one at 4 inches. Okay, and yeah, we are almost done with this. We'll bring it back out later. Okay, so now we have our 4 panels to our card, okay? And when we hold our 4 panels together like so with a matching score mark, and we set it down, we can just set it down on our mat, or you can do this with a ruler. You can tell that the top portion, this is going to be the top portion, is going to measure 3 inches, and the bottom portion of your explosion card is going to measure 3.5 inches. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is, with a good pair of scissors, we're going to take the top half of our box, and we see right along here where we did our scoring mark at the 4 inches. We are going to cut off this piece that goes right along here, right until it meets this mark. In other words, this is perpendicular to this, and we're going to take this off right where the lines meet at that one point. Okay, so it's going to be right off of the 3-inch mark. So you make sure that you're holding them right, that you have your 3-inch here and all of your 3.5 inches at the bottom, and have them all together so I know that I'm cutting this right. And I'm just going to take my scissors, and if you want to, you can use your paper trimmer as well, but you have to ensure that you stop right where these lines meet. And over here, what I like to do is I'm going to cut a right side triangle, and this is going to go just like so. Okay, and the reason why I'm doing that is because it makes it easier for me to glue the pieces. So just like that, and your piece is going to look like this. Okay, this is the top, this is the bottom, and this just is trash. So here we are. Once again, I know that this is my 3 and that's my 3.5, and I am just going to follow along that score line. Okay, so now we have these 4 pieces that have been cut just like that. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put the 4th piece, or one of the pieces, to the side. Okay, we're not going to touch that. We are going to play with these right now. Alrighty. what we're going to do with this is we are going to take by our fold line and we are just going to fold by our score line, I mean. So we're going to do that and we're going to do that. There we go. Alrighty. So at this point we can go ahead and put our box together. Alrighty. We're going to take this line and we're going to fold it in. Okay. And we're going to take this line and we're going to fold it in. And this one, we're not going to bend here because this is the back of our card, okay? But we do need to fold right along this line, okay? So we're going to do that. And now we are going to put our box together. Yay! And this is what we have. Okay, so we have this one flat piece and these other ones are bent. So now what we are going to do is, before we close this up, we're going to take papers from our paper pad and we are going to cut 4 pieces at 3 3/8 by 3 7/8, and then 4 pieces at 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. Okay, so we've cut some pieces here. We have our explosion box open, and we have some pieces here at 3 3/8 by 3 7/8, and we have 4 pieces here by 2 7/8 by 3 7/8, and we are going to start piecing everything together. So basically what you want to do is you want to take your larger pieces and you want to position them right at the bottom, and then what you're going to do with these are you're going to fold these down and you're going to put your smaller pieces right up here on the top. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And now we can very well close this part here. What we can also do is we can add a piece right along here, but I'm not going to do that I don't think it's necessary. And here's the thing. If you decide to add cardstock on the inside, keep in mind that the measurements that I'm about to give you for the strips that go in there do not account for the additional space that you're going to add inside the box if you wish to put some of these panels in, make some panels for the inside too. Okay, so the strips may not fit perfectly if you add stuff on the inside, papers on the inside. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to add some glue here, and we're going to piece the last piece together over there. Okay, and this is going to be simple to do, super simple. And we're going to take the last piece, and it's going to go just like so, right along there, just like so. And see how nice and flat your card folds? And then when you unfold it, it's going to pop out like that. Okay, and it's going to fold like so. And there we go. Now, if you want to, this is only if you want to, you can include some panels for here, okay, if you wish to. For our intentions and purposes, I'm not going to do that, but you can add some pretty panels here and here if you're going to be mailing this, alrighty, so that it looks real pretty on this side as well, and it's not going to interfere with our measurements over here. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut some strips and add them right along here. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and do that. So now we're going to take one of our pieces of scrap from our white cardstock, and we are going to cut some strips at 5 inches by 3 1/4. So let's go ahead and do that. We want 5 inches. And we want 3/4 inches, which is right there. This one is 3 1/4. So here we go. Okay, so I'm bringing this back out because I want to show you something. In a lot of these pop-up cards, people use just 3 strips, but if you want your pop-up card to look as full as this one, notice how I have 4 strips. You will need the 4 strips, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I'm just letting y'all know that the more strips that you add, the fuller that your pop-up card will be. Now, it still folds easily, okay, and that's all by how you add your elements in there, your embellishments. Now, I would not go further than 4 strips unless you make a bigger card, you know, a deeper, wider card, and those measurements would be completely different. And so I'm just letting you know, to make it look this full, that full, you're gonna need to do 4 strips instead of the usual 3 that people do. And the next step is to do score marks on both ends of your strips, and we're going to do those score marks at 1/2 an inch. So now what we want to do is we want to put these right along here as best as possible, okay? And by that I mean we want to glue them as straight as possible. You want to glue them as straight as possible, okay? So that way it doesn't come out wonky. And give yourself over here about 1/2 an inch, because remember you're doing 4, and we're gonna do here one of them, and you're gonna give yourself about 1/2 an inch in between each one, okay? And that's because we have some dimension in our flowers, so it's going to look kind of sort of like this. This one's falling because obviously they're not glued, but just to give you an example of how far apart these need to be spaced. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start with the first one. Alrighty. So now, while I'm giving these a chance to dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do this part right here. Okay? And like I said, we do have some flourishes, dimensional flourishes that I die cut, and I do have a tutorial for that. And let me just get these cleaned up. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take these flourishes and we are going to glue them. Let's see, this one goes like, do I want them up like so? Yeah, just like that. We are going to glue these to the back of our clock. And let's make sure that our pieces are lined up right, and I'm going to have to stand up for this to ensure that I'm centering it. And there we go. And And this is what we have. Okay. So while this is drying, I'm going to take a couple of pieces or a piece of foam right along here, because I do want to make sure that this goes on here real good. So I'm going to take a couple of pieces of foam and just glue them on here so that we can place this to the top of our block. Okay, and because that is exactly what I did on this one, if you can tell. See that? I have foam backing it up. And oh, I just noticed that I did add a piece right along here. So you know what? Let me go ahead and do that. There we go. Easy does it. Some glue on my hands. See how pretty the back looks? And just like that. Alrighty. So let me find some foam to add on here. And there's my 12 piece. Okay, so I'm going to add a piece of foam here, and it's the same foam that I used to make those embellishments. So it's going to be the same thickness. And that one's going to go there. And there's another little piece of foam. Here's another piece of foam. See, I don't throw away my scraps. Hold on to your scraps because you never know. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how far in this is going to go, how far down I should say this is going to go. So I'm measuring to see where the other piece of foam is going to go, and it's going to go right there. Okay, so here we go. This is going to go right along there. Now you could use some double-sided tape if you wish. And I'm just going to give this a moment to dry. Okay, so for this part, you can use your glue, and if you wish, you're just going to have to hold it there till it dries for a little bit, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my double-sided tape to tape these down. That way we can just not take more time than we need to on this tutorial. So let's just do that. And if you decide to use some double-sided tape, make sure that you use the good one. Alrighty, not the cheapo 99-cent one that you get at some places, because it may not hold. Because once you have added your foam and you have added your pieces, this is still a very light piece, but you know you're adding an ounce or two to that, so you don't want to use cheap double-sided tape. And there we go. Okay, so now that I have this like so, and I know that this is my top piece, I'm going to go ahead and turn this around, alrighty, and with the back facing me, I am going to adhere this right on here, and I'm sorry if you hear my dog barking. He is just, whoops, he is just wanting some attention from Mama, but Mama's busy right now. Okay, I think that is going to do it. Yep, that's it. And just kind of press on there and press on there, and voila! We have our clock piece. And I did, yep, I had to ensure that the 12 was facing up. I didn't want the 6 facing up, and okay, so we got that right. Yes, make sure that your 12 is on top. Okay, so we have this, and now here comes the fun part. Well, all of it, putting it together is fun as well. But now we are ready to add our flower embellishments. And we do have 5, I believe 5. Yes, I did use 5 over here. Okay, we have our flower embellishments, and like I said at the beginning of the video, I do have a tutorial on how to piece together your flowers, your graphic 45 flower die cuts, and I will go ahead and link you right up there and right below if you need a quick tutorial on that. And so we are going to start adding our pieces from the back to the front. Okay, that's how we're going to work this. And I guess you can work it from the front to the back as well if you want to do that, but you know, just allow yourself plenty of space. And I also have some flourishes over here that I die cut just because, and this is just from dies from my stash. And let's see, I have this flourish one that I believe I'm gonna put at the center of this, and this is kind of like sort of gonna go right there. So let me go ahead and do that. And I'm sorry it's not facing you, it's facing me right now, but I need to see what I'm doing. And I tell you, friends, this is so super easy to make, and if I can do this, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do this. And it's so super easy, so easy to do, so easy to make, and it's beautiful. And you can, gosh, just do it as a decor, as a piece of decor, and or you can hand it to somebody for anniversary, birthday, graduation, or what have you. And it's a beautiful piece that they'll be able to keep and look at and decorate their space with for a very long time. And every time that they look at it, they'll think of you and all the time and care that you took to make this one card for them. And so I just glued some of the leaves at the bottom, and this is gonna go just like so. So pretty. And just like that. Let me turn it this way so that I can kind of sort of gently with my finger press on the flower a little bit on that bottom petal, so that the petal glues on to the cardstock. And let's see, we can also use our bone folder to kind of sort of gently ensure that this is glued on properly. Okay, and we have our first level. Isn't that pretty? I love it. I love how this is coming out. Okay, so let me look at my sample. Okay, let me see what I did on here. Alrighty, what I done on here is I cut some leaf die cuts, and I put this one right here at the center. And when you're making this card, you can just use several different dies that you have, as far as the leaf shaped dies and the flourishes, to just give it some interest. It doesn't have to be matchy. Everything doesn't have to match. And so let me see how I do this one. I put this one here, and this one can go here. Or this one can go here. Yeah, I can do that. And to cut your flowers, to die cut your flowers, just use your leftover scraps from other projects. And so this one's going to go here, just like that. And let me turn it to the side and use my little bone folder so that I can press gently, but make sure that the piece is sticking to the little white cardstock part. Okay, that one's there. Okay, so now we are going to glue our other flower right along here. And let me see which petals. It's going to take this petal and this petal. And I love doing this. This is so much fun. And look how full it's looking. Isn't that gorgeous? That is so super gorgeous. So now, what are we going to do with this one, this very last one? Now, let me show you something. Over here, on my original one, this is kind of like my prototype. So on this one, what I did was I stuck a sentiment, okay, from my stash, and you could do whatever you want to over here. If you are going to stick some sentiments or whatever, go ahead and do it on your first one, because that way it'll be easy to see. And what I've done here is I took a chipboard piece from the Imagine collection to put right along here, and of course there you see my foam dimensional flourishes and some more leaves over here, along with a flower. This is actually a rose from the Graphic 45 flower collections. And so we can do a number of things here and here, and right now I'm debating on whether or not to add a sentiment here, and let me see if I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I have my chipboard pieces from the Graphic 45 Floral Shoppe collection, and I do believe we are going to go ahead and use this instead of a sentiment from our stash. And this ink is by Graphic 45 Color Box Decades, and it's this color that I'm using right there. And I'll go ahead and link you to it in the description area below as well, and also in my blog. So we are just going to run a little bit of ink there. And I like the saying, it says flower garden, so that is perfect for our project. So let me put that away, and I do believe I'm gonna do one like this, the other one like that. Okay, so this one is going to go right there. This is the one that says garden, and I'm going to place it right along here. And the one that says flower, I'm going to place it right along there. So just a bead of glue, that's all it takes. And there we go. Use my foam folder to ensure that, I want to make sure that that's straight. Oh, it's looking so cute. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Let me tilt it so that you can see it better. Isn't that pretty? And I'll go ahead and take pictures and I'll post them in my blog. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this last flower that I die cut. It's going to go right along this side. Alrighty? So let's do that. And here you go. Look at this. How exciting is that? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and get this situated because I know that I want this right there. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and do that, and it's going to come down a little bit further than the other one did. I'm not going to have it way up here. It is going to be a little bit 2/3 of the way down, I would say. See, something like that. I hope that y'all can see that. I'll show it to you in just a moment. So I'm going to add a bead of glue here and up here because, like I said, I'm going to go about 2/3 of the way down. Okay, and it's going to be on this side of the card, right along there. Oh, this is looking so beautiful. I love it. Okay. Like that. Let me tilt it so y'all can see it. Okay, there we go. And I know that I want to use, see, I'm just kind of playing with this a little bit, and I know that I want to use a graphic 45 rose for this side. So let me grab a rose. And if y'all haven't seen, they come in a package like this, and Graphic 45 has come out with an entire array of colors, wonderful colors for all your paper crafting needs. And but I only have these white ones, which are perfect because these you can also tint them or color them to a color that you want. And I think I want a larger one. Let me see. I do have a larger one. That's the one that I want. Love it. I love it. I love how this is coming out, and I hope that you are enjoying this tutorial. Because I tell you, I'm having fun doing this. And I think I want to add them like so, but not so obvious. Perhaps, you know what? It's okay to, oops, sorry about that. It's okay to do this and just, yeah. It's okay to do that. Alrighty, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glue here. Okay, we're adding glue here, and we are just going to put this just like so. Alrighty, just like that, and this is going to sit right along there. Okay, so now we are going to take a small piece of fun foam, and we are just going to tape it right down. And like I said before, you can go ahead and use your glue. It'll work extremely well on this. And but because I don't want to take up too much. I think this video is running an hour now, but I will try to edit it down as much as I can. And let's go ahead and put this here. Cut this little piece so that it doesn't show. No, it's okay. It's okay. Don't need to cut anything. Okay, and this one is going to go here, and this one here, and this is going to go kind of like tilted like this. And here is a spot for our flower. Gosh, it's going to look so beautiful. I love it. I wonder if I should go smaller on the flower. What do y'all think? But I really like this size flower. I think I'm going to stick with that size flower. Now, you can use your hot glue gun to hot glue this down here. And in the meantime, I'm going to see how this is going to go. This can go like so. Oh yeah, just like that. And we'll go like this. And our flower is going to go right here. And I think that I want to put this over here. Just like so. See how dimensional this is looking? And I do think I want to put that down there to have it like so. Okay, and this, we can cut it down with our scissors. Alrighty? Okay. And this can go just like so, and that can go right up there. And look at that. That is so cute. Okay, so let me go ahead and get my hot glue gun out so we can hot glue these two pieces onto, let me turn this around, so that we can hot glue these two pieces on here, and then we are done. Okay, so I have my hot glue gun just heating up right along there, and that little squiggly piece that was a little bit on the long side, I did wind up cutting it down with my pliers, and so I have just this one last piece of flourish embellishment, and I decided I will go ahead and use that. And how I'm going to use it is right here at the bottom. I'm just going to add it just like so, and cleaning it off just a little bit, and there we go. And let me just do that part, just glue it down. Okay. And this is going to go like, it's going to come out of this corner. I want it to look like it's coming out of that corner. See? Right along there. Alrighty? And now I'm going to take, here, I need to cover up my glue. Okay. So now I'm going to take this piece, and I want to ensure that this sharp piece right here is actually facing the bottom. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to take these, I think these are called needle nose pliers, okay, and I am just going to, you know what, instead of this one, let me use my jewelry making this little one, this round one, okay. If you don't have these, you can use a needle nose plier. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and kind of like turn it into a circle, kind of, sort of. You know how when you're making jewelry, just like that, okay? And the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want anyone who gets this card, I don't want them getting hurt, because this is metal. And I'm going to kind of sort of try and fix that right along there. So see, it's kind of like a little piggy's tail. Okay, so this is going to go right over here. And let me get these pieces out of the way. And I think that our heating gun should be, yep, it is ready. Okay, so I'm applying some glue. I'm applying some hot glue right along there. And it's going to go right along there. And of course, I'm gluing my nails to my project. But it's going to go right there. And this flower, excuse me, is going to go right along there. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply some glue, hot glue, a generous amount of hot glue. And there we go. Let me just hold on to this for a couple of seconds to ensure that it holds. And we are done. Oh my word. We are done. Look how beautiful this came out. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And you know what, friends? I tell you, if I can do this, so can you, okay? This one was my prototype, meaning I did all the measurements and everything for you, and this was my first one, actually. This was my very first one like this, alrighty, and just basically measuring and cutting and scoring. You saw the entire process. This is my second one, okay? So if I can do this, so can you. Alrighty, and I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that it inspires you to make your very own pop-up explosion card. Thank you all so very much for joining me. Don't forget to visit my blog for an entire cutting list and pictures of this project. And I thank you all so very much for watching. Please don't forget to hit those thumbs up. A nice comment is appreciated. And if you just happen to land on this channel and you are not a subscriber as of yet, this is what I do. Subscribe to decorate your life, because I have a passion for paper crafting. I'll see y'all again real soon. Bye.